I am in this beautiful estate of Nandi Hills and we have mountains, trees, clouds and a river. I mean the river in the electric scooter. And unlike a lot of electric scooters that we have already in India, the Indy seems a little different. And that is not just the conclusion, but I rather say there is a lot more that I want to talk to you about the Indy electric scooter. How different is it? What highlights does it have? What's good on it? What's not? So let's get cracking. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BikeWale. You are watching the first ride review of the River Indy electric scooter from Bangalore. Now, if you look at the Indy's design, it's quite unconventional and not something that we are used to usually seeing on electric scooters. We like the fact that River has gone heavy on the utilitarian front, so it gets this boxy design, a very spacious floorboard, the seat is quite spacious. And then if you come at the front, it gets these two large and sizable LED headlights which occupy most of its space. And it's a good thing, we are not complaining about it. But if you move around, then you will see these fixed pannier mounts. Now, River will offer these as standard only on the scooters that have been pre-booked. That was in February, but not after that, and that too only for the Bangalore customers. But then if you look at these handle-like bits, these are the crash guards. So in case of a fall, these guards will take all the damage and mitigate it away from the body. And for even more added convenience, so if you look at these foot pegs, these fit flush in the design and are foldable, and in case you have some sort of groceries or some luggage that you want to keep on the floorboard, you can open these and keep your feet there. And apart from that, we'll also show you this in the ergonomics section, but with these foot pegs you can sit quite relaxed and have a little more room for your feet and the overall placement. So like I said, this is a very unique and distinct design, and it seems to be working, it seems to be growing on us since the past few hours that we have ridden the scooter. Now, even if you look at the overall proportions of the Indy scooter, it's quite even all over. The front is wide and so is the rear, and the overall theme, the utility theme, fits well with the design. And now if I open the boot, there is a lot of under-seat storage. River says that this is about 43 liters, and if you have a quick look at it, you can clearly see that my full face helmet and my gloves fit very easily, and if needed I can also add more stuff in this, be it my riding jacket or if anything else. So how would this work in your favor is if you were to fit more groceries or anything else, any sort of other luggage that you had, the Indy e-scooter's boot would fairly easily take it. And that's not it. We have more storage in the front as well. So supposedly I open this, the glove box, and there you can see there's phone storage on the inside, then there is the lock for the charging panel, and for added convenience, River has also given a USB charging port, and it's fairly open, easy to open and close. All you have to do is twist the key and it locks back in its place. The overall quality of the Indy e-scooter is quite decent. Most of the parts are fixed well and seem flush with the entire structure. Then these foot pegs, crash guards and the pannier mounts too are very sturdy and should function well. Even the paint quality seems up the mark and there are no complaints here. However, there are only a few areas where River should improve on. First one is the charging port, as it opens from the inside and has this rubber piece connecting the cap. As you see here, it's a little flimsy and feels loose. So it could be better if Indy gets a slightly better piece there. Then these switch cubes here also need better consistency, as some of them have an audible click and tactile feel while others could leave you second guessing. Now we'll have a quick look at the ergonomics of the Indy e-scooter, and you can clearly see there's a lot of space right from the seat to the floorboard. Now River offers the Indy e-scooter standard with a side stand only, and if you want to buy the center stand, you'll have to pay a little premium for that. If I place my feet here with the riding boots on the floorboard, there is more than enough space even in between my feet, and even at the front and at the back. Now if I were to get a little more comfortable, I can put my feet on the foldable foot pegs, scoot back a little bit, and you can clearly see I'm in a very relaxed and sort of laid back riding posture. If we get back to the standard posture, you can see here my feet is upright. I am sat upright and the handlebar is it's placed towards the rider. So my hands are neatly and comfortably stretched, and the overall riding triangle is on the comfortable side. And even for the pillion, you can clearly see there's a lot of space here, and the foot pegs are also far away from my shin, so that really shouldn't be a bother. But what could hinder the pillion's experience is that the seat is a little wide. So if he or she were to climb on the rear seat, then they'll have to do a little bit of work there. But overall, the Indy scooter feels fairly comfortable. River has equipped the Indy with a 4 kWh battery and a 4.5 kWh motor. Now this is a mid-mounted motor with belt drive, so you would likely hear a buzzing sound of the belt while riding. But what about its performance in the real world? Let's find out. Right from the get-go, the Indy comes off as a very approachable scooter. Its acceleration is smooth and predictable in all modes. If you ride it in the city, then the eco mode would be a sensible choice as there's adequate drive for small overtakes. However, if you wish to go a little faster, then ride mode is what would serve you better as it is fairly quick in terms of overtakes. We also found the ride mode suitable for easy commuting on the highway as the cruising speed is about 60 to 65 kilometers and it's fairly doable. Then there's the rush mode, the fastest and the quickest one. It gets about 90 kmph of top speed and 70 kilometers of overall range. But because of the limited time, we couldn't drain the battery in one go. And given our experience with EVs, it won't be a surprise if the Indy's claimed range varies as per the average riding speed. Through all modes, the surge in power flattens after a bit, but nothing alarming. Moreover, the Indy rides over inclines even in the eco mode with relative ease, and we did not have to push it manually even once. On the hardware side, the Indy gets telescopic front forks and dual rear springs. Meanwhile, the brakes include a front and rear disc with CBS and regenerative braking. The front springs feel reasonably pliant, but the rear is a little on the stiffer side. So in case you come across a broken patch, we advise you to take it a little easy to glide over them and all the other undulations. The added weight would help compress the springs more and then feel a little more supple compared to what it's like riding solo. Then there are these 14-inch wheels which also make it fairly convenient to ride over bad patches. We came across some unexpected stones on the roads and the Indy rode over them without losing its balance. But this comes at the cost of handling input since the large wheels need more effort to steer around. But that also contributes to the stability at higher speeds in a straight line. And then there are these brakes which offer a good and reliable bite, but the lever progression and the feel could improve. Then if River could add adjustable levers on the Indy, it would make the overall deal even more sweeter because currently the levers are a little far from the handle and grabbing them is a tad difficult task. With its low stance, large wheels and upright rider triangle, you get a good command on the Indy's handling. At first, we found it a little lazy in taking turns or switching lanes, but once you get a hang of the weight, the Indy becomes quite fun to ride. River has kept the features list quite minimal on the Indy. It just gets LED lights everywhere, a fully digital console, 3 riding modes, Eco, Ride and Rush, 2 USB charging ports, under-seat lighting and a side stand cutoff and CBS. So there's not a lot to talk about here. As of now, the brand says that the market study says a lot of buyers usually prefer using their phone for navigation, so it has kept on GPS too. It is only when you look at the competition you'll feel that the River Indy scooter could do more in terms of features since the Ola, Ather and the iQubes offer way more than what the Indy does. In the coming months, River could also introduce fast charging for the Indy. After having ridden the Indy e-scooter for a few hours today, we have realized that there are quite a few good bits on it. Just like, for example, its design. It looks quite quirky and there is a heavy focus on the practicality, usability as I mentioned earlier. Then there is a lot of storage, be it the boot space, the glove box or even on the floorboard. Then the handling. Since this gets larger 14-inch wheels, you'd expect it to handle lazy, which it does, but when it's about being stable on high speeds on a straight line or even taking corners at a slightly higher speed, the Indy feels very stable and inspires a lot of confidence. However, there are a few places where we feel River could focus on terms of improvement. First one is For the launch price, that was around 1.25 lakh back in February, the Indy feels a little low on features because it just gets LED illumination, a TFT screen, and there is no smartphone connectivity, no cruise control. Not that these features are a deal breaker, but for the price you pay, we feel that River could do more on the features department. And even in terms of the suspension, we feel that the suspension is a little stiff, because if you were to go over bad patches unexpectedly, you'd feel slight jolts to your lower back and maybe to your bottom as well. Then it's the finishing. We feel that River could do more, and there is certainly areas of improvement in terms of the fit and finish. For example, there are slight uneven panel gaps, then the switch cubes need to be bettered, and even the charging port lock, that could be better because it just gets a rubber piece that connects it with the body, and it's a little flimsy. So with all these things said, who should ideally buy the River Indy e-scooter? Well, if you are looking for something funky, something quirky, something new as your daily commute, this could make for a good choice, considering you have already booked it in February, because River says that going forward there could be a certain change in the price, but the brand hasn't revealed what will be the final price figures. And even the 1.25 lakh pricing, it's a pre-order offer, and that is just valid in Bangalore. So supposedly if you bought the scooter from some other city, you might not get it at the aforementioned price. So once River rolls out the final pricing, we would be able to tell you whether you should spend that money or not, because there are other options in the market like the Ather 450S, the Ola variants, S1X, S1 Air, S1 Pro, that cost slightly less or are in the same ballpark figure and offer notably more features and an overall better and larger package. So as of now, we feel you should hold your horses before putting down your booking amounts for the River Indy e-scooter. And before you get going, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to BikeWale, and let us know your feedback in the comments, and tell us what other electric scooter or motorcycle that you want us to review next.